Hey fam, Shandon speaking.
Shh, Shandon.
Have you recently developed a crush on a mysterious coffee lover you see every morning in your favorite cafe and you want him to finally notice you? Or do you want to diversify your dating life and expand your pool of potential love interests? Or maybe you have just registered on Tinder for the first time and you try your luck to find your lifetime partner there. How to attract a guy and make him want you? The answers to these questions are held in a brilliant head of a heterosexual man, dating guru, and love expert Matthew Hussey.
In this video, I'm going to show you 3 ways to compliment a guy to make him fall for you. Watch until the end of this video because I'm going to be giving you something that will change the way you flirt with men forever. I want to talk today about why he treats you casually.
So today, we will talk about who Matthew Hussey is, how good of a love expert he is. We will poke our noses into his finances and try to analyze the quality of his advice. Let's dive into that.
Shh, Shandon.
For those of you who have a stable, happy, romantic life and never came across Matthew Hussey, let me introduce him. He is a relationship celebrity on YouTube who has over 3 million followers here. Matthew is also a successful writer, and one of his books, as he likes to emphasize everywhere, became a New York Times bestseller. He also takes his followers on 6-day retreats to one of the Marriott hotels in Florida. For a teeny tiny fee, of course. Less than a week with Mr. Hussey in 2021 under a special discount would cost you over $3,000, excluding your stay at the hotel and flight tickets. Under such an amazing offer, only 70 people were allowed. So if we just resort to second-grade arithmetics and try to estimate his revenue from his little 6-day holiday, that would be $224,000. Not bad! If people were paying me that much money to join me at a luxurious hotel where I would just need to give a couple of lectures, I would have never worked a day in my life ever again. So it's obvious that Matthew Hussey is not in need of finances. And if women, girls, and young ladies are prepared to pay him that much money, Mr. Hussey must provide them with a lot of high-quality love expertise. So let's dive deeper there. I've tried very hard to find any information concerning education that Matthew Hussey has gone through to have so much wisdom in his head, and the only thing that I found was that he attended a Williams College in Massachusetts with no mention of what he actually studied there. And then he got an MBA from Stanford Graduate School of Business. Very, very impressive. Yes, Matthew Hussey is indeed an expert in money making. And you may tell me, but a love degree doesn't exist. And I would agree with you. So in that case, I'm expecting someone to have a lot of personal experience in that field or empirical evidence to give me advice of this sort. And I just found a very fascinating video published in 2011, which is named How to Get a Guy in 60 Days or Less, that contains absolutely no answer to this question, but shows young and charming Matthew Hussey advertising his website for 2.5 minutes. But the thing that I found interesting there was the timings. So he said that at the time when the video was published, he had worked in the love industry for 5 years and coached women for 2 of those.
I get this chance now to share with you what I've learned over the years, and over the last 5 years I've worked with people in their love lives. For the last 2 I've worked with women exclusively.
So as you figured out, I'm a maths freak and a nerd. So let's do some additions and deductions together. Mr. I Know How to Attract a Man was born in 1987. In 2011, he had been giving advice for 5 years, as he said himself. 2011 minus 5 minus 1987 is 19. 19 is the age at which Matthew Hussey started sharing his love wisdom with the whole world. Which is also questionable, by the way, because from 2006 to 2009, the time during which he was allegedly working as a men's coach, it was very hard to find any information about that. But you may argue that one may be smart and witty as a 16-year-old and someone else stupid as a piece of wood at their 60s. Age does not necessarily imply intelligence. Well, maybe Matthew Hussey does indeed possess all the necessary knowledge on how to get the guy you want. Let's look at his practical advice.
Shh, Shandon.
Matthew Hussey likes to tell you what you need to text a guy to make him want you. He doesn't specify in what way, but based on the type of advice he gives, it's not very hard to deduce. In one of his Cosmopolitan articles, yes, Matthew Hussey used to be a columnist in Cosmopolitan, he gives 5 texts that, quote, will really vibrate in his pants. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want my texts to create this effect on a man who I met a couple of times. I would not want him to be aroused like a wild gorilla ready for mating the next time we meet. But maybe it's just me? But let's give Mr. Hussey a chance and see what he recommends in more detail. Maybe his magic texts will help us make guys want us in a different way other than just as sex objects. So he proposes to write the following. Just saw the Avengers. Chris Evans is so pretty, but I'd rather watch you take a shot off for an hour. To me, this text seems like something to send to a boyfriend, not to a guy with whom I went out a couple of times. And yes, Mr. Make Him Sexually Tensed means the latter, because getting the guy is the main focus of his blog, and because under one of his previous texts, he said, if he likes you, he'll respond. Do I need to explain that when you're in a relationship, you don't wonder usually whether that's the case? The rest of the texts are pretty much the same. It's either about increasing the sexual tension between the two of you or about showing your dominant side whilst emphasizing how exciting and vast your social life is. I'm not a nun, okay? If you do want to make him aroused and have sex with him the next date, that's your business. Just don't think that this will necessarily make him want you as his future girlfriend. A hot night with you? Yes. Something more serious? Very, very questionable. A study published in 2009 in Human Nature magazine has shown that men are likely to engage in casual sex with women even when they find them unattractive. Basically, a group of university students, both guys and girls, were asked to imagine a member of the opposite sex approaching them who they considered slightly unattractive, moderately attractive, or exceptionally attractive, and offering them 3 options. Go out with them, go to apartment, and go to bed. The participants were then asked to mark their likelihood to accept those requests for each attractiveness type. And guess what? Men are likely to accept to go to bed with a girl who they find slightly unattractive 65.3% of the time. This percentage goes nearly to 80% if she is moderately attractive. And now, look at the numbers given by women. What I wanted to show is that men and women do treat sex differently, on average. And if you, as a girl, demonstrate your willingness to engage in such an activity by sex texting, a guy is very likely to use this opportunity, even if he finds you not very attractive. I'm not saying that all guys are like that. Every man is different and unique. But on average, a guy would not turn down a sex opportunity. And guess what? Men do tend to put a lot more emphasis on physical attractiveness than women do when choosing their long-term partner. So he might go out on one date with a girl who he finds slightly unattractive and have sex, but he's not likely to see her as his future girlfriend. This video was getting too long, so I decided to separate it in 2 parts. The next time we will look at more brilliant tips that come from even a more brilliant head of Guru Hussey. What I found is just amusing. I literally got myself a bump on my forehead from face palming every time whilst listening to what he had to say sometimes. And I used to be his fan in the past. Yep. And I will also share my personal experience of applying his advice into practice. Maybe Matthew Hussey's advice won't help you find Mr. Right, but you know what will increase your chances of doing so? Increasing your physical attractiveness, as discussed in the research mentioned before. But don't get too sad too early. I recommend you checking out these 2 videos to understand that being attractive is actually not that hard. Be rational, be healthy, value yourself, and know that I love you.